Hello and welcome to Larissa's Kitchen. Tonight it's another Thanksgiving side. I'm making roasted butternut, sage, and apricot puree. Now while this is technically a side, it would actually work better as a sauce underneath a nice slice of Thanksgiving turkey or other roasted meat. So let's see what we're going to need. Obviously we're going to need some butternut. This is one large butternut, about 2 pounds. It's been cut in half, seeded, roasted until it's tender, and allowed to cool down. The rest of these ingredients are of course always listed here, as well as the full recipe and instructions in the description box below. We're making this puree on the stovetop, so let's get over there and start cooking. I have my Dutch oven on over medium-high heat. We're just going to melt this butter. We're just sweating these onions. We don't want them to get brown. Alright, these are starting to turn fragrant, so we're going to add our bruised sage and our apricots. Alright, these have been sauteing for about 3 minutes. They're very fragrant. We're going to add our sherry and reduce this to about half. Okay, now we just add the rest of our ingredients. Alright, we're just going to mix this in and allow it to simmer for just a little bit of time. I'm also seasoning this with about a whole teaspoon of salt and probably a half teaspoon of fresh cracked black pepper. I don't want this to simmer too hard, so I'm turning it down to medium-low. Your puree should be about the consistency of hot cereal. If you think it's just a little bit too thick, you can add some water to thin it out. We will be adding a cup of heavy cream at the end, so don't thin it out too much. This has been simmering for close to 10 minutes. I think it's done. So we're going to take this off and we're going to blend it smooth. I'm just removing the sage. It has a tendency to be cottony and doesn't blend completely smooth. Now this next step is completely preferential. You could leave it as is, you could use an immersion blender, a regular stand blender, or you can put it through a food mill for a perfectly smooth puree. I've rinsed out this Dutch oven. Now I'm just adding this back into the pot. I have this back on over low. I'm going to stir in about a cup of heavy cream. And I'm going to taste to see if this needs to be re-seasoned. Yes, it needs just a little bit more salt. It's time to give our puree a taste. I'm actually serving mine with just a little bit of roast pork tenderloin. Get the puree on here. Just a little bit sweet, a tiny bit tangy, perfect. We're so glad you stopped by our kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, give the like button a click and don't forget to leave a comment. We're always happy to hear from you. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and don't keep us a secret. Share our videos with your friends and family and keep up with us on Twitter and Facebook for upcoming videos and the random cat picture.